Hello there guys, PC Guy here, and it's time for another DIY project. I'm filming like this because I kind of forgot to take a before shot. Well, I did take a before shot, but then I lost the footage somehow. So I'll put it on screen if I have a picture from before, how it looked anyway. In any way, I am going to be a bit of a DIY project for the background of my desk, just the area behind the desk, giving it a little bit more color, more texture, making it hopefully a little bit more pleasant to look at while I'm gaming, and just decorating the room a little bit. It's not my original thought. I saw it on another video. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can look at the original creator. Well, if it is the original creator, I'm not sure, but anyway, it is where I found the idea, and someone that did a similar project that turned out even better to mine. But let's just give you guys a look at what I did, what I needed, and how exactly I did it. Not the most difficult thing in the world. It does require a lot of time, cost me a few hours. And I did run into a few snags, kind of, consider I'm filming this after I already completed the project. Spoiler alert, there's a few issues that I run in that kind of make it not turn out as good as I hoped it would, but it's still a very good experience and I love doing it. So stick to the end. I know it's a long video, however, let's start with what I needed for it, the materials that I needed, what I needed to get, and all that sort of thing. The star of the show, before anything else, the Govee light strip. This is a 2 times 5 meter strip, so 10 meters in total. It might be a little bit too short for the surface I'm going to do, but let's hope that it will still be okay. In any case, it was the biggest size available that I could find. It has voice control, integrates with all the big brands like Amazon, Google Assistant, etc. It has, well, you can control it by voice, all that stuff. So that was a very big thing. I wanted to have it voice controlled, so that's a big reason why I got these, and you will see it in action towards the end of the video. Next up, we have these standoff screws. They are used to mount the acrylic at a distance from a wall. So you want something this distance here that you see is big enough to actually fit the LED strips between. So it has to be something along the lines of a centimeter or centimeter and a half at least. The way it works is, let's see if I can actually do this with one hand. Kind of, yes. So it has a screw in there and two little, well, let's call it O-rings. So you want to put one ring behind the acrylic, one in the, you want to have the acrylic be here in between the two rings. You are going to have to drill a hole in the acrylic, obviously, but I think you kind of expected that much. And then at this end, you're going to have a screw here at the bottom, go into the wall. That screw you have to provide yourself. These are pretty easy to get. They're called standoff screws, or well, signed standoff screws. It takes a little bit of research because brands call it different things. You can probably get it on a general, not necessarily general hardware store, but you probably won't have much trouble finding websites that sell these. I'm going to put a couple links in the description if I can find them for you guys to click. No, know if they'll be affiliate links or not, but at least it will hopefully help you find them. I also got a little piece of wood. This is about just slightly smaller than 1 centimeter, so this will basically be used to glue to the acrylic and then put the LED strip on the side of it so that it will, actually so that the light strip will not be shooting towards the wall or towards the acrylic. It will be shooting kind of up and down parallel to the acrylic, and this is what we're going to be using for. I'm using wood. You can use other things like foam, plastic, whatever. I felt like wood is just the easiest to get, cheapest. You obviously need some sort of platform to mount the wood pieces and everything and just mount it to the wall. Acrylic is the best choice. I would go with transparent. If you really would need some strong LEDs to justify using something like Milky White or Opal, and it would make the whole project a lot more expensive. I'll go through all the costs of everything at the end, and you'll see that it's really not the most expensive project. I got 2 times 1 meter by 1 meter because I just want to make a nice big wall panel. So they are pretty big, bigger than most other projects I've seen of this sort. And I already pre-drilled the holes, as you can see, and these holes are going to be how we mount them to the wall. Any good old drill will do. Did not have any issues with it. I did not use any specialized drills. It's probably, I think it was like a wood drill that I used even. Next up, I have some of these MDF hexagonal wood pieces. They are pretty cheap to get. I just ordered them randomly online. I got a whole number of them, about 50 maybe. I wanted to make a panel with different tones. And again, it's not exactly an original idea. I am kind of getting some ideas from another video that I saw on YouTube, so not taking credit for the idea to include this, but I did love the design. I will put a link in the description down below. This is foam, basically, foam boards. They are not very thick, they're only 2 millimeters thick, but they are just, you know, thick enough that they won't let the light through, and they'll give you the effect that we actually need, while being easy to actually work and handle. They're actually really damn cheap to get. I wish they were a little bit thicker, but it's gonna be fine. It's they call it Ava foam. It's supposed to be also sound dampening, although I'm not naive enough to think that 2 millimeter thick will be enough to produce any you know, decent sound dampening effect. You can actually use just a regular good old Stanley knife to cut through it. Should be easy to get in shape. The texture is nice and smooth, and I got 3 colors: white, gray, and black. I am thinking of making sort of a gradient together with the wood color that I got. We'll see how it turns out, and yeah, I'm going to just put the hexagon on top, use it as a template, and cut this in shape. So it's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna take some time, not difficult, just time consuming. So here we have some holes in the wall already drilled for the second panel. The first panel is already done on the side, as you can see. Does not look great, I will admit, because it is not covered yet. However, I had to do some compromises to actually get the LED strip to fit the entire panel at a reasonable spacing. Anyway, that one is done for now, and now I kind of wanted to just, you know, have a test run before I shot anything video-wise, and now we're going to work on the second panel of the side. Ideally, you probably would want a single panel across the entire thing if you have the choice. However, my car was not big enough to actually transport a single panel, and these were also a lot easier to find on the store. And yeah, obviously we're gonna need a hole drill to drill some holes in the wall. My wall was concrete, so I actually had to like rent a concrete drill specifically to be able to drill in the hole, because my good old trusty drill was not making any progress. But as you can see, the holes are in place. They're not exactly spaced out evenly, but they're going to be covered. So now to planning your LED run. So I need to have let me zoom out a little bit. So we need to have the LED starting here in this corner, because the other plate is going to be on this side, and both of them are going to be linked to the same controller. So this one is going to start here, and the other one, you know, it's going to start next to it here. So they both will be able to be tied to the same controller. So the part that's facing up is the back of the acrylic that is going to be facing towards the wall. You are going to want to peel off the protective sticker around it, and we are going to put the wood pieces there to actually put the LEDs on. So let's get started. I have a few of these little wood tidbits that I mentioned, and some plastic glue or epoxy glue, whatever you want to call it. Not sure if they're exactly the same, but this does the job, and we'll let you glue the wood to the acrylic. So let's try to open it. Probably not going to be able with one hand without squirting it all over the place. So here we go now. The wrinkly thing is just a protective layer on the other side of the acrylic. Make sure you don't go and glue the wood pieces on the protective layer. So we are going to now put a decently generous amount of this plastic glue here on the side. And yes, I am aware that it will probably, you know, like sploosh out the sides once I press it against the acrylic, but that's fine, because it's going to be covered anyway, at least for the most part. So here it is, the corner that I mentioned, and I am going to kind of put it a little bit further up here, not too close to the edges, because you don't need your light to be closer to the edges, because one, you do not have that big of a length of LED strip, and two, the light will spread, the light will shine out anyway, so that's fine. And I am more interested in the light being inside the, well, panel than on the outer edge, to be honest. I'll let you guys see when I am done, because it's just not doable to be holding the phone and filming and doing it at the same time. I swear, I need like a little helmet that holds the phone for me while I record. So we are done with the gluing of the little wood pieces, and it's going to start here at this corner like I mentioned. I'm going to go up and left and down and then to the right there, and then it's going to curl around and do the inside again. You might be asking, why is it so uneven? Why is it sludging to the side there on that side? Well, why is it going up here? Well, for one simple reason, I think I went a bit too conservative on the area that I need to cover with the strips, and I want to concentrate it on the middle area, like I said. So I went like that, and then when I got to that corner, I was like, well, I think I'm gonna have a lot of spare strip. So I went a little bit to the outside, and then there I went a bit over, because this part here is going to be lit by this section anyway, and if need be, if I have extra length, I'll just curl it up a little bit to the middle there to just give a little bit more light on that central area that might be lacking otherwise. So now that it is nice and dry, all the wood pieces are pretty sturdily stuck. They are not coming off anytime soon, hopefully. We are going to put our LED strips. So again, this is something I can't quite do with one hand. What we are going to do is we are going to glue them like this on the side. So not like this, but so that they face sideways in relation to the acrylic. And we are going to go all the way around. And when we get here, we are going to, I'll just try to show you as best as I can. We are going to go like this around and all the way back. As we had kind of expected, I did have a bit of an extra stretch of LED strip that was not necessary. So like I said, I put it a little bit towards the middle. Not enough to actually go all the way to the middle, but it's gotta go somewhere. I don't want to cut it, and it's always extra light in that little area there. If you have watched any of my videos, you know that I like to pretty much just kind of wing it. Anyway, I am waiting for that last wood block to dry out, and I will hang this panel as well on the wall next to the other and let you guys see it on for the first time. I have not even turned the LED strips on, so crossing my fingers that they actually are working. Probably would have inspired of me to actually do it before, but I'm assuming that they are working. If not, I'll just pull them out and get new LED strips. But anyway, let's try it out and give you guys a first look at the thing on the wall without the front covers yet still on, but just to see what we are going for. So here is what it's looking like being lit on the wall. As you can see, there is not a whole lot of light spreading to the top sides and to the sides here in the middle, but I hope that it will still be visible once once the whole thing is well put in place with all the hexagons on top, that there will be light being seen between each hexagon. To get the actual hexagons done, pretty simple. Just grab one of the wood hexagons, put it on your sheet of foam or whatever else you are using it, just hold it down. You don't need to mark it or anything like that, just hold it down, and then with the Stanley knife or whatever else you're using, just cut it along the edge. It will cut extremely easily. Just make sure that you kind of really stick to the edge to get a nice uniform form between all the blocks. I have kind of built a little stockpile while I was watching movies or something, or just Google, browsing on YouTube randomly. Been busy, so as you can see, I have a nice stock of them here already. It's probably not going to be enough yet, but it's enough to make a start. As far as how to get it in there, stuck it to the acrylic goes, pretty simple. I got some double-sided tape here, I got a clear hole, that should be enough for most of the project. Otherwise, it's pretty inexpensive as well. Just, I put one little bit here in the middle, hopefully it'll be enough. This is like really light, the foam is even lighter, and the idea is you can just stick it to the panel, and if you need to, you will just, if you want to like rearrange the pattern or do a little variation, change the pattern that you have on the walls with the different colors and different materials and such, you can easily just take a few out, put it in another spot with the tape. They're not fixed in there permanently, Although I can kind of think that you're going to have to be careful with the foam if you want to take them out, because you might just rip the foam because it's pretty fragile. But in any case, this gives you an option to actually rearrange it and customize it however you see fit. I'm going to start with wood at the bottom and then start doing like a grayscale, you know, like a little bit of gray and then white, a few patterns in the middle maybe. We'll see how that goes. So as you can see, it is finished. It's all put in there. I already turned it on. Spoiler alert, there were a few disappointments that I will go over with you guys later. I am mostly happy with the result, but there are a few details that need to be addressed, and it will be I want to say I'll fix it in the future, but knowing myself, it's going to be a while. So for now, I will just put the desk back against the wall. I will do a little bit of remodeling. I'm taking the printer out because it's a wireless printer anyway, it doesn't have to be there, and it will give me a little bit more of a desk space. Anyway, I will get to that and I will show you guys the end result in action and comment on it. Let's turn off the lights and show you guys how it looks when it's actually finished. Forewarning, pause this right now if you have an Home Assistant. I'm gonna say some trigger words for your Home Assistants that you probably don't want yours to follow. So, assuming you guys have already paused and muted your Home Assistant if you haven't. In any case, here it goes. Alexa, movie time. So here we go. I have it set to blue, just, you know, a little bit of a showcase. Doesn't really matter. As you can see, and yes, some free J2 advertisement, I guess. There are a few hotspots where the LED strips are. Not too big of a deal. I had to make sure that the white pieces were not really under the LED strips, otherwise they would shine right through and it wouldn't really look great, so I had to improvise with a bit of a pattern there. That's the downside of having such a thin material for the foam. In any case, on its whole, it looks pretty decent, looks pretty okay. So why am I saying that I hit a few snags and that I have some reworkings to do with it? So for starters, let's go a little bit closer because you don't see it at a distance. It's not exactly uniform between the lights. As you can see, I had to, well, kind of improvise to make it fit. This is due to my own, haste in actually trying to do it too fast, because as you can imagine, this cost quite a bit of time. And there at the end, it's not really visible, it starts nice and clean along the edge. And then as the distance goes on, I start veering off the edge and going lower and lower, up to a point where it actually has a gap there that is not really covered. So you can see that it's not exactly following the direction that it should. At a certain point, the gap got so big that I just couldn't deal with it, and I cut a few pieces there just to cover it. However, it does not really look amazing, so that's going to need some reworking in the future, but this was so much work that I'm just so done with it right now that I can't really deal with it. So the other problem is, as you can see, the whole thing is blue. It can turn to other colors. I'm gonna ask it to do so. Alexa, set the wall to red. So yeah, it can turn to other colors, you can make it blink, it's a Govee strip, link will be down below, but careful now, because you don't want to make the same mistake that I did. I wanted to have an addressable RGB strip to be able to do all sorts of patterns with it. I was, mostly like blue-purple is nice for a gaming rule, if you ask me. That's kind of what I wanted to go with it, but just to have options, to be able to have effects, see the colors swirl all around the wall. The materials on Amazon, they don't mention if it's RGB or not, and I should have checked better, but all the promotional material shows a wave effect of different colors in the same strip, so it's easy to assume that it is. Only when I finally installed it did I figure out that that was not the case, and I was freaking majorly disappointed. Yeah. That said, it is quite easy to replace, kind of. I just have to pull the desk from the wall, which is not the worst thing in the world. I just have to, take off this little screw head. There's one there, there's another one there, slightly visible behind the white. And, there's another few all over the wall. I just have to take them off, remove the panel. I don't have to take off all the hexagons, thankfully. And take out that LED strip and put the new one back there. Thankfully, there's no soldering involved, there's nothing like that. So that much is good, at least. It's going to be a lot more work to replace the all, because I have to do the entire wall, because if I start changing a little bit to make it level, it has a cascading effect on the ones next to it. So I'm gonna have to redo the whole thing to make sure that it is level, nice and properly. When that's gonna happen, not quite sure, because I'm quite tired of this project. There's other things I want to do, other projects that I want to pursue, and so yeah, I'm going to see when I have the time for that and how much this actually bothers me. Another thing that I have to still kind of figure out is try to see if I can make everything kind of sync up in terms of lighting via Amazon Alexa effects. Like ask the whole room to turn to a color at once. I'm kind of new to the whole home automation thing, but yeah, I have the LED strips on the wall. They're voice controlled. I have the RGB bulb up there, and then those back there are not really well. They're not really smart. It's all with an infrared remote. And so yeah, I kind of wanted to be able to tell the room in one color, in one go, in one command to change to the same color. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research into routines. Another thing is the strips here. They are really not smart. So there are two options for this, and I'll talk about that some other time anyway. This video is kind of dragging out for a long while. I will make a separate video with, plans for the gaming room slash studio, and how to do it, and all that stuff. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty depressed yesterday when I finished and realized my mistake with the strips. Should have known better, should have checked it before I actually used them while they were still in the roll, so I could have shipped them back and got the right version. But as it is, now I'm stuck with them. They will still work after I remove them, but I can't really return them. I'll just have to reuse them for whatever else. It doesn't really matter, but yeah. We'll see what happens and when I actually get around to it. There are other things that I want to do to kind of fix up the PC room, decorate other parts of the house, and finish some other projects, as well as some other exciting projects that I have had my eye on. So yeah, but I'll leave that for the next video. I am pretty happy with the results overall. Looking at it from here from a distance, you don't really notice much the difference in the spacing between the strips. The hotspots are a lot more obvious like this than they are in person. They are, when you're just sitting and gaming, you don't notice them as much. So yeah, the camera kind of makes them pop out a lot more than they actually do. I will put a listing for Amazon on the description down below for the LED strips if you guys are interested. I will put a listing for both these that I got and the addressable RGB ones. I would go with the addressable RGB ones, honestly, because the price difference is not massive, and you open yourself up to a lot more options of what you want to do with them. Don't make the same mistake that I did, and actually research stuff, and don't just, go airhead through it, trying to get through it quickly and not doing your research properly. So yeah, I'm happy with the results. Could have been better. As far as the cost goes, not very expensive at all. So the wood pieces I got from AliExpress were relatively cheap, like $30-ish for about 50 of them. Didn't get a lot of them to begin with. The 50 don't go very far when you have such a big area to cover. This is about 2 meters wide, 1 meter tall. So that was, well, in hindsight, probably could have done it without them, but they were about $30. So let's add that to the tab. The rest of the hexagons altogether, the foam hexagons, they were 27 euros. That translates to about $35 as well. So in any case, so you are at $30 for the rectangles, another 35-ish for the other foam, so I'd say 50, about $60-ish for the whole shenanigans. The acrylic plates, they are 2 millimeter thick, 2 plates 1 by 1 meter, so they cost me about 13 euros each, I'd say 15 bucks. So you are at the 90 total right now. The little standoff screws I got, they were about 10 euros each, so let's say another 12 bucks. You're about at the 105 mark dollars right now. And the LED strips, those cost me about 30 bucks on Amazon. They go up, they go down. But like I mentioned, they are the wrong LED strips. So yeah, if I were to get the RGB ones, I just eyeballing the price right now, it would be about 10 euros extra. So let's say 140 bucks for the whole shebang. You can probably get away with it cheaper if you know where to find materials cheaper, because I know here in Europe materials, usually for me, they are a lot more expensive than I see in a lot of other DIY videos that I see. So if you are, for example, in America or other places with cheaper materials, you can probably make this work for a whole lot less. And if you are obviously working with a smaller area that you want to light up and decorate, you might only need one LED strip instead of two. You might need less rectangles. That is about, let's say, 115, 110 euros, something along those lines, which is not bad for for a project like this. This kind of marks the end, at least for now, of yet another silly DIY project. Links for whatever is applicable will be down below, like I said, although most of it you can just get at the local hardware store, so, you know, whatever. Thanks to the other videos that I saw that I have inspired me to do this. I'll put also a link down below. I'll see you guys next video. Hopefully, hope you've enjoyed it, and shoot me any questions about, you know, what to do and how to do it and my advice on it. Then I will be open to the comment section. Just drop your comments down there. Also open to suggestions for improvements or what else I can do to actually improve the studio. I am looking forward mostly to some ideas for that little space that I freed there from the desk. I took away the printer. If you guys have any ideas on what should I put there, actually? Hope you guys see you guys in the next video and in the rest of our journey through beginnings of home automation, building kind of a gaming man cave here, and making it look as nice and creative as possible. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.